Our next guest is ranked #1 by Bloomberg for his coverage of Sony. Daniel Ernst is a principal and analyst at Hudson Square Research, joining us now on the phone for our best-in-class segment. Dan, when it comes to Sony and that company's forecast, I mean, is it best in class yet?
It's certainly not there yet. The restructuring that's going on is a lot more than cost-cutting. They've reorganized a lot of divisions and created a central process for engineering and software design, and a central process for procurement of products would have helped them grow gross margins. Gross margins were actually 600 basis points better than we were expecting at 30% in the quarter. So there's actually a lot of things that are going well that are going deeper than cost cutting.
All right, but what about that forecast? It did miss analyst estimates, less than half the average of analysts that we surveyed here at Bloomberg. What does that forecast say to you about Sony's outlook?
Well, the forecast for operating income of 160 billion yen came in below ours at 213. I think most of Tokyo was at 200 billion. But the big delta, and this was in our previews and most of the other previews, that we were expecting another year of larger restructuring charges. So the delta on that, about 60 billion yen, actually makes it their operating income ex charges better than we were forecasting for the coming year. So, again, not out of the woods yet, but if you take out some of the noise, a lot of the metrics are moving, up and to the right.
We led into this. Our Sheila Dharmarajan did a report, talking about how Howard Stringer is really trying to take Sony back to its glory days, but it's got a lot of problems, whether it's the electronics business, whether it's the gaming business. Is there a point in time, whether it's 3 years down the road from here, that you do see Sony getting back to glory days?
Absolutely. I think they are doing the right things. Again, the big thing is, besides cost cutting, we're reorganizing the divisions. In particular, I'm excited about what they're doing with software and creating a common software interface. And if you look at the game division, actually the industry fell almost 10% this past year, but PlayStation 3 platform sales were up 60%.
Right.
So the PlayStation 2, which is in its 12th year, of course, was falling, and the software there is falling. But if you just look at the PlayStation 3, they had tremendous growth, particularly on software, where the margins are coming from. So that division coming back into profit next year for games in particular is going to be a big driver. And I think that they're in a much longer cycle.
Right.
With the PlayStation.
All right, we're going to leave it on that note. Hey, Dan, thank you so much for taking some time out for us.